and let's talk about Charles Barkley, who has made such a career for himself.
Mound of rebounds.
That's right. You remember when we first started out as a player, a lot of the younger people have never seen him play and just can't imagine how good he was in his day as a player.
Especially for his height.
He was
not as big as people, tall as people think he is.
He was a tremendous player. But Charles, the thing about Charles is he's willing to say just about anything. A lot of players in the NBA don't like him because he just refuses to just go along and be a mouthpiece for players or the league. Right. I mean, I've watched him on TNT, Allen, and, TNT and the NBA or whatever, and he goes, this is unwatchable basketball.
Right.
Like you wouldn't be on a network talking about.
Charles, I fell asleep.
Yeah, like unbelievable. Like that's who he is.
Yeah, why are we showing this game?
Why are we showing this game? Who are these guys? They're terrible. Oh my God, I would have turned the channel. You know what I mean, or whatever it is. But this is who he is. So he was at some event and had some comments, and Rob G are going to read it for it. And Alan, we can't have the audio because it was just so bad with the trying to hear it through that. And then he said a few choice words that we can't play on the radio.
Rob G going to do a Barkley impersonation?
I don't know. He's going to do it straight, but don't put those curse words in it because we want to hold on to the radio show.
Right. So Charles Barkley, as you mentioned, was near Lake Tahoe for the celebrity golf tournament that I believe the same one that Steph Curry ended up winning.
Yep.
So he was at a bar. There's live music. He's very inebriated, and he let his real feelings come out. And he said to the crowd, which was some booing, some cheering, but here's what he said. Hey, let me tell you something. All you rednecks or a-holes who don't want to drink Bud Light, F y'all. Y'all can't cancel me. Hey, I ain't worried about getting canceled because let me tell you something. If you'll fire me and give me all that money, I'm going to be playing golf every effing day. So listen, as I said last night, if you're gay, bless you. If you're trans, bless you. And if you got a problem with them, then F you.
My goodness gracious. Alan, you're the professional television anchor man and represented plenty of big companies.
Yeah.
You got a problem with this?
You know what? I don't have a problem with it because he is speaking his mind, and he obviously works for a company that has given him a lot of room to be himself. Most corporations won't give you that luxury. They will hold you accountable to some of the things that you have to say, and they will consider that you crossed the line. Now, the fact that he didn't really necessarily, I guess, mention someone in particular is a little different in this case, but he totally said where his position is. He's very comfortable in life. He's got enough money now in life that it doesn't matter to him. Charles can fade away into the sunset and be totally happy with it because he doesn't need your money anymore. He has made a success out of his life. He's got kids. He's done everything he needs to do. So he can walk away, and like he said, he can just play terrible golf because he does play terrible golf. But he can just do that for the rest of his life. He doesn't need that anymore if he doesn't want it. But people keep seeking him out. So there is a certain segment of, like you said, and that's the same thing. He said there were few boos. There were a lot of people who cheered. And that's the way, I think that's Charles Barkley's audience. There are going to be people who are not going to totally agree with you whatsoever and want you fired, going to write the station, going to call the station, how do you keep this guy employed? And there are going to be some people who say, you know what, he's just speaking his mind. Let him be.
The one thing I'm going to say about Charles Barkley is he's consistent.
Right.
And it's not just, you brought up the part about the money, and you're right. He's set. He doesn't have to work if he doesn't want to, right? He's got plenty of money to live and do whatever he wants.
Right.
But he's been doing this way before he was that guy, before he had enough money. He lost his friendship with Michael Jordan because he said he was a terrible executive, right?
Right.
I mean, that was his guy.
Right. It's truth.
But he so whenever I hear like the younger players, oh, he's just an old jealous guy and because he never won a ring or whatever they want to use as an excuse.
Right.
I think that they have him miscast. I think he's been this way his entire, with a lot of money, without a lot of money, whatever you want to say, he's genuine. And you could disagree, no matter what you say, and I give him a lot of credit for this. You could just stay away from this. Right. What do you have to gain by this? You could, but that's not who he is. And,
Right.
and you just said it. TNT, they allow him to be him.
Right.
Tell me. I worked at ESPN. People got suspended all the time.
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
Like, it was like working at ESPN sometimes was like being in high school, Alan.
Right.
You got to go to the principal's office. What'd you
Right.
say? Okay, can you come in? You get suspended.
Yeah.
Has Charles been suspended from TNT?
I don't recall. I think
Rob G, was he ever? I don't ever remember him being suspended or.
Right. And and there are a lot of athletes and a lot of people, even on whatever platform you're on today, don't like it when it comes back at them.
Right.
They have a real issue when you clap back at them.
Oh, a lot of people.
And Charles
and
is like, bring it. You want to have this discussion? You want to talk about this? I have tough skin. Bring it. I can take it. You want to talk about it? There are a lot of,
But
there
I
are
think
a lot of present NBA players who
they all
go on
backtrack.
social media
Oh, yeah.
and they're like, I can't believe he talked about me like this, and they want to get into some, superficial discussion, and they can't take being criticized.
No, most of these guys can't. And the thing is, which kills me about current players, especially NBA players, first the pushback was, you guys didn't make the NBA. You guys don't know basketball. You didn't play. Right? That was the. Now they don't want to hear from Shaq, Charles, who played at a high level.
Right.
And they don't even want to hear criticism from those guys. Oh, they're just old and jealous, and they don't make the money that we make, and like that's their excuse. Those guys just don't want to be criticized, which is the most unbelievable thing I've ever. How do you play in a public forum and expect not to not be criticized?
Right.
You could go work at the post office, and nobody will write about your job. Nobody will criticize you, for real.
Right.
Other than that, they have to wait in line too long, but you know what I mean.
You can live a very quiet existence.
Life, and nobody will bother you.
Right. And I got news for you, though, Rob. If I win the $1 billion Powerball,
What is that, tonight or tomorrow?
It's Wednesday.
Rob G, you got a ticket?
If I win the $1 billion Powerball, I don't know if you want me back.
Can I say this? If I won the $1 billion,
Yeah.
I would be in here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Money.
You're the one person I believe.
Alex.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. You know why? Money doesn't change. Money's not going to
Yeah.
change. All it means, if I were to win that money, was that my friends and family around me will have an easier life.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not. What am I going to do?
Right. If I won it, I'd be in too if you asked me. And you know why? I wasn't doing nothing that hour anyway.
You know what I mean? No, but but like I don't look at money like that. Like to me, what money does is make life easier, but it doesn't mean you stop living, and that's how a lot of people get in trouble.
Exactly.
Like that with alcohol, drugs, all kinds of stuff. Because they we have nothing to do. You wake up every day out and got a pocket full of money and nothing to do. What are you going to do? You're going to get in trouble, right?
Right. You probably couldn't tell anybody you won because then, people be coming at you from all different parts of the world.
But you know what? I'll be honest. Friends wouldn't even have to call me to ask for money.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding you. I just set up my friends for their life to be easy. And somebody, a former athlete told me, he said the worst thing you could do is give people money.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, that's not what you do. And it was right. He said, if you were to win a lot of money, have money, if I pay your mortgage off,
right.
Now you keep working, whatever, and now that payment that you used to pay is now in your pocket.
Right.
If I give you money, you blow it, and you still got your mortgage, you're going to come back and ask me for more.
Right.
But you got
right.
Or if I paid off all your debts.
Right.
Said, here you go, you got a clean slate.
Yeah.
You can't come.
I remember when Dominique Wilkins' wife.
Does that make sense? Like paying off somebody's house or their debts, and then it's on you now.
Yeah. I remember Dominique Wilkins' wife, I believe the story goes, when they got together and she looked at his finances and she goes, we cutting out all these relatives.
Oh, it was a mess.
All these people who just keep coming back for more and more and more.
Because that's what happens.
Right. We're cutting that off. We got to put an end to that.
Crazy. But I really don't. Charles Barkley, to me, is a rare breed. There's a reason he gets paid as much money.
Yeah.
There's a reason that ESPN has tried to hire him for 1 million years. That show has not been duplicated.
No.
And it's about Charles, who's as real as it comes.
It's about it. That show is so great because it is all honesty, and everybody plays their role, and they're for real. Ernie Johnson is just like the glue. He's a real down-to-earth kind of guy, and I think that you see that they all love him.
Yeah, no.
Because he's just a real kind of guy, and he's not even really from their world.
No, he's not in their world, right.
But they all have gelled together to work out.
It is It is it's a great watch, but Charles is a rare find. Again, it's easy to fall in line when Michael Jordan's one of your best friends. I mean, what? You cutting off my Jordan supply and all
Right.
that? You know, like seriously.
Right.
I'm out of the circle. I'm not hanging out. We're not going. Like,
Yeah, that's a huge one.
that's a huge. If that doesn't say something, I think that.
Yeah. Are you willing to say, okay, that's your position. I understand, but my life goes on.
Right. And he looked at it as, this is my job. I'm just telling people.
And I'm still going to be me. And
Right.
you have to respect that.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. You don't have to agree. I'm not saying you have to agree with whatever he said
Right.
and push back. You could do whatever you want.
Right.
But I don't think Charles Barkley has changed. I think he's the same and has been consistent. I love consistency.
Yeah.
Like a bran muffin every morning.
And you know what
I
gets
mean?
me about people in society? Sometimes they want to complain about things when you have the greatest power that you have is that like you don't have to watch it.
No. Turn it off.
Right. Turn it off. Go do something
Chris
else.
and I argue all the time about that. Chris hates rap music because of the lyrics and all. Chris, I don't want you to censor an artist making music. Don't buy it.
Right.
And if enough people don't buy it, guess what? Then
Right.
they won't make it anymore. That's all you got to do
Right. Lawrence Welk, you can go get those tapes.
if you want.